Have you ever felt like your feelings just have a mind of their own, like they're in the driver's seat and you're just along for the ride? Well, today, we're going to pop the hood on our own emotions. We're going to see exactly how they work so you can go from being controlled by them to being the one in control. So our guide for this little adventure is the book Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse. And it's exactly what it sounds like, a really straightforward, no-nonsense manual for anyone who's ever wanted to better understand what's going on in their own head. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with something I bet we've all felt. You could get a dozen compliments, everything's going great, and then one person says something critical, you get one negative email, and boom, the whole day feels ruined. Why does that one little thing have so much power over us? Well, the answer, it turns out, is kind of a glitch in our original program. And that brings us to our first big idea, your brain's survival glitch. And just to be clear, this isn't a flaw in your character, it's a feature of your brain's wiring that's just a little outdated. It's a real thing, and it's called the negativity bias. See, our brains are, at their core, survival machines. For our ancient ancestors, it was way more important to spot the one poisonous berry than the 100 safe ones. They had to be constantly scanning for threats to stay alive. The problem is, our brains haven't really gotten a memo that we're not dodging predators anymore. And that's the whole problem right there, isn't it? Our ancient hardware, this alarm system that was built to react to a literal saber-toothed tiger, is now firing off with the same intensity for a critical email from our boss. The emotional response feels just as real, even though the threat to our actual survival is, let's be honest, zero. So that's one piece of the puzzle. Now let's bring in the other major player. And that would be the ego. Now, we're not talking about being arrogant here. In this context, the ego is just the story you've created about who you are. It's that main character in the movie of your life, built from your job, your beliefs, your past, all of it. And a whole lot of our emotional pain happens when the real world doesn't follow the script that our ego has written for our character. Okay, so we've got a brain that's wired to freak out about negative stuff, and an ego that's super attached to its personal story. So how do these two things actually team up to create a powerful emotion? Well, it turns out it's not random. There's a formula. And this is key. Emotions don't just happen to us. We actually build them. And here it is. It's a three-step process. First, something happens, and you decide what it means. That's interpretation. Second, you connect that meaning to your story, to your ego. You make it personal. That is identification. And third, you just hit replay over and over in your head. That's repetition. So interpretation plus identification plus repetition, that equals one strong, sticky emotion. You know, that third step, repetition, is so powerful. And this quote from Eckhart Tolle just nails it. The thought creates the feeling, but then the feeling convinces you the thought must be true, which creates more feeling, and on it goes. It's a feedback group that can spin a tiny spark of frustration into a raging fire. But here's the good news. If it's a formula, we can break it. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. We're going to look at 3 powerful, super practical hacks you can use to interrupt that formula and take the steering wheel back. All right, hack number 1. This one targets the very first step in the formula, interpretation. Look, you can't always control what happens to you, right? But you always have control over the story you tell yourself about it. Was that critical email proof that you're a failure, or was it just feedback you can use to get better? Same event, completely different stories. And that means completely different emotional outcomes. You're the author here. Okay, hack number 2 disrupts identification. And this is so simple, it's almost silly, but wow, is it a game changer. When you say, I am angry, you're making the emotion your entire identity in that moment. It's who you are. But if you just change it to, I feel anger, everything shifts. Suddenly there's a space. The anger is something you're experiencing. It's a temporary guest, not the owner of the house. That tiny change in language gives you your power back. And finally, hack number 3. This is for when you're really stuck in your head and you just can't seem to think your way out of a bad mood. The trick is, change your body. Our physical state has a massive, direct impact on our mental state. You know how when you're feeling down, you kind of slouch and look at the floor? Well, that posture is actually reinforcing the feeling. But guess what? The reverse is also true. And this isn't just a nice idea. There's real science to back it up. Social psychologist Amy Cuddy found that standing in a high-power pose, think Wonder Woman, hands on hips, chest out, for just 2 minutes creates actual chemical changes in your brain.
Your cortisol, that's your stress hormone, it goes down. And your testosterone, the confidence hormone, goes up. You can literally fake it till you become it, just by changing your posture.
So we've learned how to interrupt and hack our negative emotions. But what if the point isn't just to get rid of them? What if we've been looking at our feelings all wrong this whole time? This is the final and maybe the most important shift in thinking. Your emotions aren't the enemy. They're not a problem to be fixed. They are data. They are messengers. That anger you're feeling, it might be telling you that one of your boundaries has been crossed. That sadness, it's telling you you've lost something you care about. That fear, it's just telling you to pay attention. Your emotions are a compass, and they're always pointing towards something that needs your attention. As Thibaut Meurisse himself puts it, emotions are actually the fuel for our growth. I mean, think about it. Physical pain tells you to take your hand off a hot stove, right? Emotional pain works the exact same way. It's a powerful signal nudging you to make a change, to learn something, to evolve into a better version of yourself. So I'll leave you with this to think about. The next time a strong feeling comes up, instead of fighting it or pushing it away, what if you just got curious? What if you just asked it, hey, what are you trying to tell me? What valuable message is one of your emotions trying to deliver to you today?